when it came to, all was silent. The lights were dim, and yet the room felt large. Where on earth is this? I was sitting in what seemed to be a very small single sofa. It was very constricting, and there seemed to be several more of them off to each side of me. Once I noticed that, I realized that I was in a theater.
ここは一体
Hey there, Leon. Again? It hasn't been that long. I don't know how long I've been here. And more importantly, I don't know where this is. Yeah, I've just been sitting here. It is a nice place for me to think about some stuff. Which, speaking of thinking of some stuff, I have been thinking of one of the Twilights that we had for episode 3. I've been thinking a little bit more when it comes to the first Twilight, that is, with the 6th locked room murder. And there was something that Will said that was especially interesting, because he said something along the lines of some stuff overlapping. I don't remember exactly the exact wording that he said, but it reminded me of Shannon and Kanon, because, again, if I'm going with the idea that Kanon and Shannon are the one and the same, that means that there will be one body, not two, and yet we had 6. Shannon, she was the first one to be discovered, and Kanon was the last one. Something tells me that when it comes to the discovery of Shannon's body, it was all okay, in the sense that Rudolph broke in through the window, and the adults discovered Shannon first, but she could have faked her death. So when they took the key for the second victim and left the parlor, Shannon could have just left through that same window and went to the chapel to disguise herself as a Kanon and be the last victim. To be the last victim discovered once the adults come and discover the 6th body. Because remember that for the 6th lock room, each victim had a key for the next room where the next victim would reside in. Yeah, like if you guys remember, that is how I remember it. So, yeah, it could very well be that Shannon went to the chapel and changed into Kanon to pretend that there are 2 bodies, but in actuality there was 1 body, and there would actually be like 5 bodies in that. Okay, I think that everything is good right now. Okay, so when it comes to one of the murders of the second game, like one of the later murders with Nazi's room, there was something to note when it comes to what Will said. Some of the responses that Will had to the Twilight was illusion to illusion, but for that one it was earth to earth. And he commented, he gave his answer something along the lines of, there is no doubt when it comes to a coffin being seen as a locked room. Yeah, it did make me think back that maybe we could just go with that as real. That when you say earth to earth, it would mean something that you don't really have to question that much. Whereas illusions to illusions, it is up to your interpretation and should be questioned a little bit first. So I guess when it comes to that particular murder with Nazi's room, with Shannon, George, and Goda, could very well be that Shannon actually killed herself. That locked room was her coffin. So, yeah, it is easy to think that she killed Goda and George and then killed herself. But that still questions. It does make me question if there was something more to it, because that's an easy answer. That is still an easy answer. So it does make me think, how did Shannon kill herself? Because Rosa still blocked Beller from reaching to Shannon, or looking at Shannon a little bit differently. So maybe if Rosa didn't block us from looking further, maybe there was some detail to Shannon's body that would tell us how she was killed. That is something that I'm still gonna contemplate on. But for right now, well, we are here. And it is nice to see you again, Leon. Hope you don't mind me spewing some ideas around here, and hope you can humor me in these times, since you are here. Beatrice's funeral ended. Everyone went back to the mansion, and after that, my memory gets fuzzy, and I cannot recall anything else. Then I was surprised to notice the presence of another person. Apparently, I wasn't the only one sitting in the audience seating of this vast theater. The sound had come from a seat to the side of me. When I looked, I saw a girl sitting several seats to my left. Is it Lambda with her popcorn? I mean, it makes sense. Like, I haven't seen Lambda in this episode. I mean, Christ, it has been a while. I haven't seen Dylanor either. Where is she? It was a face I had never seen before. I wondered who she was. She looked like a high schooler or a college student, about the same age as I was. Angie? She gawked. Apparently, she had just woken up. I didn't want to scare her, so I decided to introduce myself first.
こんにちは。
Angie! It's so nice to see you again, sweetie. Apparently, she was equally surprised to find someone other than herself here. She jumped when she heard my greeting.
誰あんた。私も同じ気持ちです。どうやら私たちは望まずしてここにいるらしい。
Ah, yeah. Also, another thing that came to mind, like a while ago after I was done with the last part, when it comes to Leon and Yasuda. Leon is Leon in her own world where the baby was accepted, and Yasuda is from a fragment where the baby was not accepted. It made me think on Yasuda, especially how she originally looked, because Yasuda like, she never showed her actual looks as a human. And I did say that I did say my own idea that Shannon and Yasuda would be one of the same, but something tells me that they don't actually look the same. So if I am to connect Yasuda with Leon, that would imply that Yasuda would actually look somewhat similar to Leon, with like a very, very small booba and that type of hair, similar to Beatrice. Because whether you accepted um, by the family or not, I would say that genetics would actually be similar, like, no matter what. So yeah, it does make me think that Yasuda would actually look similar to Leon in that sense. So yeah, it is pretty interesting. And I guess that means that it gives more credence to that idea that I had before of how Shannon's booba are not as real as we would think. And it surely would give credence to that idea, you know.
それ片翼の紋章。え、この紋章をご存知なんですか？
She looked suspiciously at the one-legged crest emblazoned on my collar. Her stare, which was unmoving but not openly hostile, wasn't exactly pleasant for me.
先に私が名乗りましょう。私は後宮リオンと申します。後宮？え、何？リオンです。理科の理に魚するの魚でリオンと読みます。
Yeah, you're probably confused, Angie. That is because you haven't caught up to the recent episode of Umineko. You should probably check episode 7. It is pretty cool.
珍しい名前でしょ。 名前の珍しさなら私も負けないわ。でもごめんなさい。私はあんたを知らないわ。道理でしょうね。私もあなたを知りませんから。そうじゃなくて、あんた誰？後ろ宮家にあんたなんかいないわ。どうしてそう決めつけられるんです？あなたは当家と何か関わりが？私が後ろ宮家の人間だからよ。それは。
She showed me her left sleeve, and the crest of the one-winged eagle emblazoned upon it. Which does make me think. It seems that this is the first time Leon sees this person as Angie. I was thinking that at some point during the seventh game, she was actually showed the previous games to have her think about the games and such, and that would also imply that she actually saw Angie. But apparently she didn't. So I guess this means that Leon was shown some fragments of the game, but also excluded Angie because, well, you can say that Angie's story bits were outside of the game and they weren't actually, no. Angie was part of the fourth game, so like she was with Beller at that point, so well, either way, maybe she was shown some fragments, some stuff that would make her think about what is going on.
お言葉を返すようですが、あなたこそ誰です？後宮家であなたを見たことがない。細切れにされたり、朗読させられたり。次は何？今度はどこの魔女の余興なの？これは。
She spelled out those words and seemed to be complaining about something.
エンジェ。私は後宮エンジェ。ルドルフとキリエの娘よ。エンジェちゃん？だってエンジェちゃんはまだ6つのはず。私が6つだったのは六軒島で最後の親族会議があったあの年の話よ。なるほど。あんたが1986年の人間であることは分かったわ。私は18よ。そして1998年の人間。つまり12年後の未来のエンジェちゃん。納得してもらえて嬉しいわ。でも申し訳ないことに、私にあなたの心当たりがないの。あなたは誰？親は？父はクラウス、母は夏日です。それはジェシカお姉ちゃんだわ。ジェシカは妹です。どういうこと？ジェシカお姉ちゃんは一人っ子じゃなかったの？
By this point, I was starting to figure out the situation this Angie had come from. She's probably from the world where I awakened as a witch, the world where Leon doesn't exist. 説
明するのは難しいですが、こう思ってください。あなたの知る世界と別の世界では、私も後宮家の人間なんです。あなたの世界での私は、別の運命により別の人生を歩み、後宮家の人間として生きてはいないのです。あんた、魔女なの？残念ながら普通の人間です。今の話は、魔女のベルンカステルさんに教えられたことです。ベルンカステル？あの青い長髪のネクラそうな顔した？ええ、多分そんな容姿だったと思います。つまり私はまた魔女の茶番に付き合わされてるわけね。ここは一体？私もさっき目を覚ましたばかりです。ここはどこでしょう？劇場に見えるわ。何かを感激しろってのかしら。今はそういう気分ではありませんね。出口を探しましょう。気づいてないの？これ。あ、これは。
Clack. Oh no, not again. Finally noticed. Both of my wrists and ankles had chains attached to them. Oh boy, here we go again. Wait. No, not here we go again. Are we gonna have to deal with another logic error? Oh, please don't. That last one was was rough. As long as I sat here, I had enough slack that I could move about a little. But it looked like there wouldn't be nearly enough for me to get out of this place. Oh boy. Now that I'm thinking about the possibility, you know, we had that logic error, but when it comes to that mystery of Beller in the locked room, imagine if we had like a logic error for the entire story of Claire's. Oof. I can imagine that would be a little bit more difficult to go through when it comes to that, if we had like a logic error for that one.
いつの間に誰がこんなことを。
Which, I guess a part of me wouldn't be that surprised, because I feel like there is something that I'm missing from Claire's story that makes it more horrific than I can imagine. I did say this like last part. A part of me, I actually did express my feelings when Beatrice was sent to Kinzo's study and they would talk to each other. I was thinking that some really bad stuff was gonna happen that would kickstart Yasuda's breakdown into committing murder in the future, but surprisingly, it went well. That and, with Yasuda being dressed as Beatrice in the first place, it did make me think of some really bad thoughts in my mind. You know, a similar fashion to how Kinzo and Beatrice were, and what Kinzo and Claudette and Beatrice were doing. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think I need to. I don't think I need to spell it like directly, right? I was having some dark thoughts when it comes to that, so a part of me was glad that it ended like much better than I actually imagined. But at the same time, it felt a little bit odd. A bit.
魔女の駒に落ちたら永遠にあいつらのおもちゃよ。逃げられない。
Angie crossed her legs, making the chains clamp together. She must realize that no amount of struggling will break these chains. And that getting panicky won't accomplish anything. She seemed to have nerves of steel.
魔女の駒とは。あいつらの下僕みたいなもんよ。私は取引したの。家族に会いたい。あの日から連れ戻したいって。魔女はその可能性を与える代わりに私を魔女の駒としたわ。少なくとも魔女は約束を守ったわね。お兄ちゃんに会うことだけはできたんだし。バトラ君のこと？エンジェだと名乗ることもできなかったけどね。そしてそのささやかな時間と引き換えに私は今もこうして魔女のおもちゃ箱の中から永遠に抜け出せない。
Well, except you did for a little bit there.
どうやらあんたもそのお仲間のようね。
Which, I am still questioning even to this day, ever since the beginning of episode 5, really. Like, what does Beller think of Angie, now that all this stuff with Beatrice happened?
何を契約したの？
Because Beller did initially say that he would defeat Beatrice, and then he will come back home. So, no doubt that something changed in Beller when it comes to that. But I think that the most important thing that I want to see is Beller and Angie interact with each other once more and see what will come out of that exchange now that episode 5 and 6 happened. Like, I am definitely curious what Beller will say to Angie next time they meet each other.
私は何も。何かを魔女に望んだんじゃないの？何も。私という存在がどれだけ奇跡であるかを教えてもらいました。それだけです。いずれにせよ私たちはここから逃れられない。さあ魔女たち、今度はどんな余興を見せてくれるの？ 朗読の次は感激？今度は私が誰かの朗読を見るっていうの？ならば始めてちょうだい。私はとっくに退屈しているの。
Angie yelled at the pitch black stage. Her voice reverberated throughout the theater, but no one gave an answer. No, someone did, and that was also in a voice that rang across the theater. However, that voice sounded theatrical, as though someone was announcing the start of a play.
あの日に何があったかって？
Oh?
教えてなんてあげないわ。
Oh no! It's her!
へそでも噛んで死んじゃえば。この声は。
It has been a while since I've seen the Beatrice too, I guess. Although we did have her in the 6th episode and such, but still, it has been a while.
あのババアよ。エヴァおばさんの声だわ。あの日に何があったかとは？ 1986年10月4日から5日の2日間、六軒島で最後の親族会議が行われた日のことよ。今日ですね。
Today is October 4th, 1986. As a prelude to the family conference, Beatrice's funeral was held.
驚いたわ。あんたは1986年の10月4日から来たっていうの？教えて。一体この2日間に何があったの？
And the answer she seeks is inside the cat box. Even I can tell her nothing except that there was a tragic misunderstanding of the heart. However, I doubt that explanation would satisfy her. Then, a pillar of bright light pierced the stage. There stood a figure in white. Oh, thank goodness it's you, Claire. Although you were doing a pretty good impression of Beatrice, not gonna lie, you almost scared the bejesus out of us. That figure, clothed in a white dress, was obviously Claire. Of course, Angie didn't recognize her. She looked suspicious, apparently wondering who in the world this was. However, even I felt as though something was wrong. Didn't she settle all of her regrets in the funeral a short while ago, before being sent off into the next world? Oh boy, here we go. I guess so. We're not gonna be having like a happy ending for that episode, eh? We're gonna be going for the tea party and a bit of a twist on that, and some bad stuff are gonna be happening here. Yeah, it's not over yet. She stood all alone in a narrow beam of light in the center of the stage, and the expression on her face was lifeless. The light began to grow brighter and brighter. It shone more and more fiercely on her, until it became blinding just to look at her. Ugh! Jesus Christ, too much light, man. The world was enveloped by a light so bright that we couldn't keep our eyes up. The world was enveloped by a light so bright that we couldn't keep our eyes open. Enveloped by a sound like wind or television static. And our minds began to go blank. Oh? Ha!
今年も見事に咲いたもんや。
これを手入れするのは大変だろうぜ。めでるだけの俺たちは楽なもんだ。
どうかね。手入れしてくれる人たちに感謝しなくちゃ。でもちょっと品がないのよね。兄さんが変に手を加える前の方が素敵だったわ。
昔のも昔ので味わいがあってよかったわよね。
マリアバラ好き。トゲがなければもっと好き。
ひゃー、懐かしいなこのバラ庭園。この6年ですっかり忘れてたぜ。もうそんなになるんだね。このバラ庭園も、そしてバトラ君も本当に見違えたよ。
Okay, so this isn't Leon's role in this case. We're back to the regular feeding of the previous episodes in 1986. So, okay.
紹介するよ。使用人のカノン君。バトラとは初対面だよな。
はじめまして。
俺のことはバトラって呼んでくれよな。よろしく頼むぜ。
今日はシャノンもいるぜ。一緒に遊んだの覚えてる？
ああ、シャノンちゃん。すっかり忘れてたぜ。懐かしいな。元気にしてるかい？
この6年でますます綺麗になったよ。後で挨拶するといいよ。
シャノンはジョージお兄ちゃんと仲良しなの。マリア、それは内緒な。
それでは皆様、そろそろゲストハウスの方へご案内いたします。
After enjoying the lovely welcome provided by the roses, the relatives follow Goro in the direction of the guest house. October 4th, 1986. Orokenjima. A world without Leon. The day of the Ushirumiya family's family conference. The mysterious letter that Maria read aloud at the dinner, just as she had been told to. The writer of the letter claimed to be the Golden Witch Beatrice, enchanted the family. Solve the riddle of the epitaph. Otherwise, I will take everything. It was the letter that declared the start of Beatrice's game, just as it had appeared in so many games before. Had an unknown person appeared to complicate the inheritance problem? Where was the 20 billion yen's worth of golden hidden? What was the purpose of this letter? For what goal had it been written? Who on earth was this Beatrice? It was that tangled web of suspicion and paranoia that had been a constant in every game. The dinner of October 4th.
ジョージ君、申し訳ないけど、みんなと一緒にゲストハウスに戻っててくれるかしら。ごめんね。
シャノン、子供たちをゲストハウスへ。私たちはこのまま親族会議に入ります。
はい、かしこまりました。
黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェか。味な手紙をよこしてくれるじゃないか。
碑文を解いてみろですって。ふざけたこと。あの黄金は私たちのものよ。部外者なんかに譲ってたまるものですか。
あの黄金さえ見つかりゃ俺たちは全員ハッピー。誰も損がねえんだがね。
行こうみんな。ここからは大人の話だよ。
やれやれ、ややこしそうな話だぜ。
ほらマリア、行くぜ。ベアとの儀式が始まったね。それでは皆様、ゲストハウスへご案内します。これは何でしょう。
過去のゲームのいずれかの再演か。さもなくば新しいゲームでしょうね。
A very condensed one at that.
どのゲームであっても10月4日はほとんど同じ展開だから。新しいゲーム、これまでのかけらにない物語ということですか。私たちを鎖で縛り付けてまで見せたものがすでに知ってるゲームなわけがない。新しいゲームだと考えるべきでしょうね。ならばゲームマスターがいるはず。それは誰？あいつ？ベルンカステル？私にはそうとは思いません。クレルはもう消え去ったはずなんです。新しい物語を紡ぐ必要性がないはず。ベアとのゲーム版なんてとっくの昔に昭和る魔女どもに乗っ取られてるわ。ベアとでさえあいつらのゲームの駒でしかない。一体これは何のつもりで誰の仕業なんです。私たちに何を見せたいんだ。
Before this tale began, Claire definitely appeared on stage. She is me from a world of a different fate, and the tale that is Beatrice's game. However, didn't she entrust everything to Will and have all her riddles solved? There should be no need for her to make new riddles. In that case, is Bianca still using this tale to test me? Along with Will, I have at least touched the deepest depths of this tale, and understood the culprit's heart. So, even if an entirely new tale presents itself, I should be able to see through the riddles. Is that what my role is? Is my role to teach Angie about the truth of this tale?
あなたは知っているんですか？この物語の真相を。いくつかの仮説は考えてるわ。でもどの説にも最終的な答えは出せない。真相はいつも猫箱の中。断定はできない。
In this world, Angie is absent on this day, so it's only natural that she doesn't know what happened. However, at the very least, I do know who the culprit is, and what they were trying to do.
やっと自分の役目が分かった気がします。どういう意味？どうやらあなたは感激者で、私は解説者のようです。何を解説してくれるというの？私はこれから起こる事件の犯人を知っているからです。
So you're thinking you're the one who is to explain this? Especially with Claire on the stage that we've seen. Maybe it does make sense in that aspect.
なんですって？
普通に考えれば何者かが私たちに碑文を解かす横取りを狙っているようにしか思えんがね。
同感だ。先に解いたなら猫ババしちまえばいいだけの話。わざわざ俺らに解いてみろなんて挑発するかってんだ。
使用人の誰かのいたずらだわ。あわよく黄金が見つかったらご祝儀におこぼれがもらえるかもしれないっていうさもしい考えに違いないわよ。
当家の使用人の中にそんな人間がいるとは思えません。
あるいは使用人のふりをして私たちの中の誰かが差し出した手紙だったりして。
それを言ったら一番怪しいのはあんたでしょうが。マリアちゃんに一芝居打たせてあの手紙を読ませたんじゃないの？
私はそんなことしないわよ。
予算かエヴァ、決めつけたらあかんで。今はみんなで結託して相談し合う時やないか。
そうね。あの怪しげな手紙は私たちの結束を乱すのが狙いでしょうね。踊らされれば踊らされるほどベアトリーチェなる差出人の思うつぼだわ。
キリエさんの言う通りだね。あのような手紙など初めから意に介さないくらいがちょうどいいのではないかね。
私は最初からそうだと言っています。こんなの取るに足らないいたずらです。
そうやな、全くその通りや。おかしなクレームの1件や2件でびくついてたら商いはやってられんで。
主人の言う通りだわ。こんな子供だまし真面目に考えるだけ損だわ。本当に遺産騒動に絡みたい何者かなら手紙なんて遠回しなことをせず堂々と姿を現せばいいんだし。
だな。俺たち以外に遺産を要求している人間がいると思わせておこぼれに預かりたいってやつがいるんだろうぜ。
遺産問題に口を挟まない代わりに口止め料をよこせとか言い出すのかしら。
それを言い出すならもう手紙に書いてるはずだわ。
手紙の内容は碑文を解いてみろ、さもなくば全てをいただくなる挑戦状だけだ。
犯人はわしらに碑文の謎を解かせたい。それ以上でも以下でもないっちゅうことやな。
つまりよ、こんな手紙気にしたら負けってことだぜ。
同感だ。まるで推理小説のようなミステリアスな演出だったので、ついつい私たちも面白がってしまった我々も余裕がないね。
しかし誰がこんな手紙を。腹立たしいことです。
使用人じゃないなら私たちの中の誰かが書いたんでしょうよ。誰とは言わないけれどね。
よしてよ。本当に私は知らないの。
まあまあ、しかし手紙の言うことも一理あるっちゅうもんや。わしらは誰も彼も金が欲しいんや。
I mean, after all, they need a... Wait, what was that line again? I'm forgetting.
それもできたら今すぐや。それに異論がある者はおらんやろ。
just kidding. I know from the bottom of my heart what that line is. I mean, after all, they need a lot of money right now.
そりゃそうだ。金と愛はいくらあっても困らねえぜ。
親父殿の遺産はいつ転がり込んでくるかわからない。しかし碑文の黄金は違う。見つかれば直ちに山分けだ。
ある意味お父様の遺産以上に目の前にある金だわ。
碑文の謎が解ければの話だけれどね。
ここにいる皆さんも碑文の謎にはそれぞれ挑戦されたんでしょ。
Kitty asked the room at large, and everyone wordlessly nodded back.
ここには出題者であるお父さんの血を引く人間が4人もいながらそれぞれがバラバラに謎に挑戦してる。効率的ではないと思わない？
だな。俺たちはそれぞれが欲の皮を突っ張らせて単独に謎解きをしてた。しかし黄金発見時の分配等についてはもう俺たちの中で決着がついている。そして兄貴が次期当主であることを認めるってのもな。
それを引き換えに随分とふっかけてくれたがね。
私たちで協力して謎解きをしたらあの碑文も解けるかしら。
3人よれば文殊の知恵。それどころか私たちは7人もいるわ。
お父様の遺産問題については私たちは今日おおむねで合意を得ているわ。余興のつもりで碑文に挑んでみるのもいいんじゃないかしら。
せやな、一服のつもりでちょいとやってみるのもええんとちゃうか。
バカバカしい隠し黄金などと。
まあまあ余興だと思ってよ。合田さんに冷たいもんでも持ってきてもらおうぜ。一服しながらたまには兄弟水入らずで謎解きごっこをしてみようじゃねえか。
どうせ夜は長い。親父殿の寿命についてくだらない詮索をするより よっぽど建設的だと思えるね。
Yeah, dodging dodging the subject as usual, Kraus. Trying to distract everybody from the problem that you have with Kinzo. Now that we're talking about the epitaph.
合田さんに電話するわ。何か持ってきてもらいましょうよ。
お茶とお菓子と、あと台湾の地図でも持ってこさせる？
Man, already. Okay. Well, they might know of Taiwan because they are Kinzo's daughters and sons. But wait, wasn't it that Eva actually had like a problem with that at first? Or rather, she knew from the start that it was Taiwan and she had to look at the map and see if there was something there. And she was having a hard time until she finally found a solution and then figured some stuff out. And I honestly don't remember exactly the details in episode 3, but nonetheless, two figures could be seen in the Rose Garden Arbor. Ah, it's Shannon and Georgie. It was George and Shannon's secret meeting.
この指輪を受け取ってほしい。
ジョージ様。
君を生涯愛することを誓う。若い今だけじゃない。おいてお墓に入るまでの全てを愛し、君を幸せにすることを誓うよ。
その言葉に嘘偽りはありませんか？
どう？
ああ、ないね。僕には君を愛し幸せな家庭を作る絶対の覚悟と自信がある。
その幸せな家庭とはどんなものですか？
それはとても幸せな家庭だよ。車と庭付きの家、そして飼い犬が1匹。庭には家庭菜園。子供たちが駆け回り、僕たちはバルコニーから微笑ましそうに見下ろすんだ。それが僕たちの未来の日曜日の当たり前の光景だよ。
それは素敵な光景ですね。
あの二人付き合ってるのかよ。
声が大きいって。マリアが起きちゃうだろ。
そうか。そうだったか。言われてみればなんとなく今日もあの二人いい雰囲気だったしな。そうだよな。俺たちももう恋をする年頃だもんな。
この6年で私たちは随分変わったぜ。ジョージ兄さんも昔は頼りない感じだったけど今は違う。
それは思ったぜ。ジョージの兄貴随分と貫禄が出てたもんな。
But still, Shannon-chan and George Aniki. That's a bit unexpected. They played together often enough 6 years ago, but I didn't think they were that close.
なるほどな。6年だもんな。
この6年は誰にとっても大きいぜ。
だな。俺もこの6年いろいろあって正直六軒島のことはほとんど忘れてた。
まあ私もバトラーのことほとんど忘れかけてたけどな。
そりゃひでえぜ。
Talking together like this, it felt as though we'd been transported 6 years into the past. Those 6 years were so long that I forgot almost everything. And yet, it's coming back to me, bit by bit. Shannon-chan. 6 years ago, you were a part of our group, and we played together a lot, didn't we? Back then, I think I might have liked Shannon-chan. That was the age when we were all overly self-conscious. in love with love. I recall bittersweet memories of jokes involving melodramatic, flippant words.
懐かしいぜ。今だったらとても言えねえような恥ずかしいことをいっぱい言っちまったような。思い出しただけで赤面しちまうぜ。
シャノンはそそっかしいけど記憶力はいいからな。後でこっそり昔のバトラーの恥ずかしい黒歴史を聞いちゃおうっと。
よせやい。6年経ってるぜ。さすがに時効だろ。
I see. So Shannon-chan is going out with George Aniki. What am I thinking? Could this be jealousy? I didn't really think about it till now, but I think Shannon-chan and I had back then. That was probably my first love. It's not like I have any right to be jealous, after forgetting the whole thing until we met again. Okay. That was actually pretty interesting to hear. Pretty interesting to hear some of Balor's thoughts about 6 years ago. Up until now we've seen quite a lot of Shannon's side, and now we've seen a little bit of Balor's side, which was pretty interesting. But, well, we're back over here, so yeah, might as well.
親父殿は今も時折台湾を懐かしんで槟榔を噛んでいるよ。
I am more interested in hearing some more of Balor's thoughts. So this particular section over here doesn't really interest me. So yeah, you adults go ahead and figure your own epitaph and such.
若い日にタバコの代わりに覚えたらしい。
でも鮎が泳ぐ川なんていくらでもあったと思うわ。
鮎釣りの有名な渓流などいくらでもある。鮎なんて水さえきれいならどこにだって住んでたでしょうよ。お手上げだわ。
お父さんが子供の頃に遊んだ近所の小川かなんかとちゃうか。鮎っちゅうとるが案外船程度のことかもしれんで。
あるいは何かの比喩かもしれないわ。川が水の流れる川とは限らないから。
水の流れない川とは？
さあね。何のことやら。
キリエが言うのも一理ある。故郷を台湾と決めつけるのも、鮎の川が水の流れる川と決めつけるのも何も。
そう言われちゃお手上げやで。こら考えれば考えるほどに難解な謎謎や。
そうよ。これはきっと謎謎なのよ。キリエさんの言う通りだわ。頭を柔らかくして考えるべきなのよ。
大正中に近い川っていうと淡水河かしら。
あんた話聞いてるの？水の流れる川とは限らないって話をしてんでしょうが、その川が鮎の川だって保証はあるの？
そうよね。ごめんなさい。
まあ多分鮎も泳いでたろうぜ。何しろ淡水の川だってんだ。淡水魚の鮎が泳いでても不思議はねえだろうぜ。
鮎は淡水魚。鮎の川で淡水の川。それで淡水河かね。言葉遊びだな。
面白い説じゃない。もう少し推理を進めてみましょう。川を下れば里あり。淡水河の河口には何て町があるの？
淡水と書いてあります。
淡水は観光で行ったわ。落ち着いた港町よ。夕焼けが綺麗だったわ。
その里にて二人が口にした騎士ってのはあったか。
さあね、心当たりなんてないわ。
やっぱり懐かしき故郷というのは台湾のことじゃないのよ。やっぱり小田原なのかもしれないわ。
全ての可能性を否定するべきではないとすると、いや私たちには碑文の1行目からすら話がまともに進みやしない。
静かにして、気が散る。絶対に台湾よ。お父様が台湾以外を懐かしいと形容するわけがない。
それについてだけは私も同感です。お父様にとって今でも台湾は心のふるさとなのですから。
一行目ばかりに固執するのも良くないわよね。私は他の行について検討してみるわ。第一の晩からをちょっと見てみることにする。
俺もそうするぜ。鮎の皮は姉貴に任せて、その先を検討してみよう。
第一の晩に鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよう。ミステリアスね。わかった。
He was suddenly muttered. All the others spun around to look at her. They spun their heads so fast. It's almost like breaking their necks. It was that fast. Eva flipped through the pages about Taiwan with incredible force. Then found the pages she was looking for and slammed the book open so hard that it almost tore. And it almost broke the table as well. This whole time, they had been looking at pages with place names. Because let's not forget that Eva did some karate and some taekwondo and all that fun stuff. In her spare time, she is pretty strong. Let's not forget that. As far as the overall massive information went, those had seemed the most useful pages to start from. However, the page that Eva opened to was very limited in the scope of its information. It was a map of railway lines.
川を下れば里里だわ。あった。
何の話だね、エヴァ。説明したまえ。
静かにして。岸もある、口もある。二人が口にするというのはわからないけど、でも里も岸も口もある。